What will you experience at a Knock 'em Dead comedy murder mystery show? Suspense, excitement, love, more love, violence. Well, not really. And, of course, some music. Knock 'em Dead Comedy is the #1 murder mystery troupe, entertaining thousands of people for over 20 years.
You have a great night or what? Good.
Their hilarious murder mystery shows are full of audience interaction from beginning to end that will keep you laughing all night long. Their shows are not to be missed. Knock 'em Dead Comedy's murder mystery themes include a mob show, a redneck wedding, a high school reunion, a family reunion with a luau theme, or your own custom show.
Johnny, you have a good time tonight or what?
I had an awesome time.
All right. She had a great time. KDC, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, all right.
Fundraisers, private parties, corporate events, restaurants, and more. Contact Knock 'em Dead Comedy for your event today.
The Knock 'em Dead Comedy Radio Show also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair, from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. So call Two Eagles Auto Body and ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527.
Hi, I'm Danny Bonaducci, and you are watching Govs Radio. This is where you go if you want to see something or if you want to hear something funny. Coming up in just a couple minutes, this is a joke I told. What? I'm not on Gov Radio? Call the police. Call my agent.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony and Sally on the Knock 'em Dead radio show. They're going to keep knocking 'em dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus, and...
3-2 to Mookie Wilson. Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Hello, Tony. Mookie Wilson here, 1986 Mets. How you doing? Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, that Knock'em Dead Comedy Radio, man. I miss you. I wish I was still up there, man. But I'll wait till it warms up a little bit, and hopefully this year things will be a little bit better, man. But when we're talking about comedy, hey, the early years of Mets was a lot to laugh about. You had to make a lot of comedy off those guys. Hey, hope to see you guys during the summer, and hopefully get back on the show, man, at some point in time during the course of the year, all right? All right? Yeah, fine. Contact me, man. All right, Tony. Talk to you later.
Tony, hey, it's Derek, a.k.a. Mr. Poppin' Twist. We know, and I'm just popping in to say congratulations on your 5th anniversary, 5 years, heading Knock'em Dead Comedy Radio Show. Now, as a guy who used to show up all the time, I added it all up. I added up what happened. I did 12, at least I found 12 different instances where I was announced to be a guest on the show. So there's at least 12 times I was there announced. There were probably a few more that I missed. Then there was easily a half a dozen to a dozen more times I just showed up when I wasn't invited. And then that's not even counting the times I called in and did jokes and stuff when I wasn't even there. So, yeah, the first time I ever showed up, September 2018. And then the last time I did it after a 2-year hiatus, came back, did a couple of shows in 2022. So, the school schedule makes you have to come in only around the school schedule, but I'm hoping to come back one of these days. It's always a blast when I'm in there. You have given me an opportunity to do some amazingly creative things, and I always have a blast. And, for a man with half a leg, you work harder than a man with 4 legs. Well, that'd be a horse. But anyway, that's not important right now. Tony, congratulations on 5 years. Let's look forward to the future, and let's go for 50 more.
Happy birthday, Sammy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Sammy. Happy birthday, Sammy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Sammy.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. It is Monday. Hello, Jeff Bosey, who's watching. Good morning, Tony. Did you even leave? No, I was here quite late last night, but I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. We're awaiting the arrival of Richie Byrne. He's going to be here probably about another half hour. He's going to be here. So, I'm going to get to that. We were here pretty late last night. Joe Crovella's here. He was also here last night. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope everybody's well. Hope you had a great weekend. Please, you see the graphic above my head. Please share this show and tell everybody you know about all the great shows here at Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, whether it's on the Twitch channel or the YouTube channel or Facebook. This is the Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show here on the Twitch channel, Gov's Comedy Club Twitch channel. Thanks for joining us. I'd like to wish my daughter Samantha a happy 24th birthday today.
Birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday. Thank you. My oldest turning 24. That's older than you.
Yeah, that's it's still younger than my brother, but that's older than me.
Craziness. Joe Crovella is here, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Crovella, our pal, our good friend. So you're off from school this week? Is that what's going on?
It's spring break, and everyone's in Cabo and Miami. I'm just going to tear shit up in the Cubs radio studio.
Tear shit up. Like we were talking before we went on the air about some guy that cut him off on the road and or attempted to cut him off on the road.
Start off my day with.
But it was just funny the way you're like he came on, in the ramp, but I sped up and I got ahead and I won.
Yeah, I won, because it's like I don't know what he was trying to prove, but like I slowed down to try to let him get on. And then I do that, and then he's just not going. So I'm like, all right. I was like, I'm not here to be fucking community service. So I just stepped on the gas, went, and then he's like still trying to fight me on it. I don't know what this thing's trying to do. And then I beat him, puts his high beams on. We end up meeting at a light, and I kind of slowed down because I knew we were going to lock eyes or say whatever. And then he just gave me one of these, and then fucking turned crazy to the right because I don't know what he thought, but
yeah, again,
life goes on,
a real man.
I just want to know where he was going to, because I guarantee it's people like that so aggressive, and then guarantee they pull into a Dunkin' Donuts to just buy some coffee or some shit. It's like, what were you gonna fucking kill me for? Like,
right. What was
man.
so important, and you had mentioned, which makes me nuts. There was nobody behind you, so he couldn't just wait, 3 seconds for you to pass. I personally believe that's the worst part when it comes to people driving, when they just don't know, and sometimes when it comes to merging, people just don't know what to do. Whether it's the guy or the person coming in, they don't know. Like, you're supposed to actually speed up so that you can, get your speed and get in there and merge and keep going. But sometimes, like you'll be on a parkway or highway, and the people already in the lane, they slam on the brake to let that person in, which you're not supposed to do that.
I've been innocent of that. I mean, I've been guilty of that a few times because like sometimes they come in so hot. It's like,
that's different,
expect,
right?
So I'm like, oh
right.
man.
I think people just get all nervous. They don't know what to do in that situation, and it's. I don't know.
I mean, getting on and off is definitely stressful. Like the most stressful thing of driving, I feel like, especially if you're getting on the highway the parkway when it's like freaking like not bumper to bumper, when it's like slamming on the southern state or something like that. Yeah, you don't know what to expect. People, you can't expect people to drive like how you would. So that's why I'm always like, I drive defensive. So sometimes I've been guilty of the brake stepping in the right lane.
The brake stepping. I think I may have even told the story last week. I was driving on a road a few weeks ago, and I'm in the right lane, and there was a turning lane for the to make a right as well, and there was a bunch of cars, and a guy a few cars back, he goes to the right, speeds up, works his way back in
a one-way.
Yeah, so he went into the right turning lane, and we were going straight. So he went into the right turning lane just to basically skip like past four cars, and he came back in. But when he came back in, he cut me off. So I didn't lean on. I just did a quick. That's all I did. And he then goes back into the right lane, and I see him roll his window down. So I'm coming up, and we're not moving fast yet because, like I said, there were a bunch of cars. So I get a little, I speed up a little bit. I get next to him. I roll down my window, and honest to God, and I think I did tell this story on here. I really thought the guy was going to, sorry, man. That's what I don't know why, but that's what I thought.
Jerk off. Yeah,
sure enough, we like you said, we lock eyes, and he just immediately goes, "If you need to get by so freaking bad, well then go right ahead." And he's waving his arm, "Go right ahead." And I go, "You cut me off, and you were," and I just, that was it. I'm like yelling as I'm passing him,
Yeah, I'm like a big shit talker as I'm driving away. I'm like, fuck you.
Have you ever heard Andy Pajanos, what he does?
No.
And forgive me if you guys have heard it a million times because we do talk about it a lot. Andy, if he sees that there's going to be some kind of like a heated exchange, he looks right at the person, and goes.
Just pretends to do that.
Just to mess with him. So I had that in my head with this guy because we were driving and we got to like maybe another light or two later, and I saw that we were gonna
meet up
again.
It's gonna happen. You know,
so I didn't have the balls to do what Andy did.
Yeah.
But I did turn, like he was behind me at this point, so I turned and I'm ready for him. I'm just my plan was just to go like this, like that, which I don't know what that would have done, but he just went right by. He wouldn't even look.
He's fucking pissed. He's on.
And he's just So I was like actually a little disappointed. I didn't get to laugh at him.
That happened to me with the school bus one time.
A school bus.
Fucking torrential rain, like really bad. I think it was like 5:30 in the morning. I took early class at 7 a.m. So I was just trying to get there early, and I remember. I'm going a good speed. I'm going like 40 miles per hour, and it's fucking downpouring rain, like heavy, like one of those like heavy thud rains. And the school bus goes in a one lane, goes around me to get in front of me. And at the next light, he was in a turning lane. So I mean, I took a picture of his license plate, all that shit.
Wow.
And at that red light, I just let him have it. He wasn't acknowledging me, so it was like a punching bag. But I just kept going at him and shit. And I was like holding my phone up, and he was shook, and he was just like kind of like pretending to look away.
Right.
Scumbag, you're driving a school bus and you do that.
Yeah, absolutely
and it's
right.
Bad weather. That shit, like the way a school bus is fucking like formed, like it could have fell over, but you know, whatever. But
were there kids in it?
No. Oh, bro, if there was kids in it, I would have been viral on TikTok. I would have been like, oh, like what are you doing? But all my friends know like how like I snap. Like I'll be on the phone with my friends. I'm like, hey, no, yo, what the fuck? Like just like instantly, because like I'm not a road rager where I'll fight somebody. I just aggression, like screaming wise and shit like
really
that. Yeah, I can't handle it.
I can't even picture you getting mad, man. You're the most even keeled dude.
Yeah, that's
one of the biggest ones I've ever met.
That's my biggest pet peeve. All my friends know. I was on the phone with my friend Friday when that guy was like turning into the left lane. All of a sudden we're on the phone having a nice conversation. I'm just like, what the are you doing? Like, and he hears me honk the horn. He's just dying laughing. Like they just know the switch, and I just go like. And then I go right to the next conversation. I'm like, yeah, so what's it called? And then just like manic and shit, bipolar type shit.
Well, yeah, we are Italian, so it's kind of...
Yeah, it comes and goes, the aggression.
I have...
That's funny.
I don't... I've had some instances on the road, but I don't see myself as having road rage, but I have made a conscious decision just in the past maybe 2 or 3 years. When it comes to fighting with people on the road, I consciously avoid it now. we all do it. Constantly just giving the looks or doing one of these. I really try not to do that anymore. If somebody cuts me off, I'm like, don't even look at them. Just look straight ahead. And I have to say, it has helped me. I don't think I've ever had road rage, but it's definitely just helped me not get as annoyed when I'm driving.
Yeah, for me, it's just like I just can't control it. You know what that is? I'll never fight. No, I'll never get to the point where like it ever will happen like that. Although there was one time in Nassau community, some guy was like dad was picking him up. I have the right of way, and I remember he was like honking at me or something like that, as if like he was trying to come out and like almost. So I was so pissed off. I literally stopped my car and I opened up the door. I was like, yo, like I don't know, the way he was like talking shit and doing whatever. I was like, this Indian dude's dad's about to get beat up right in front of him, man. Like, I was so pissed. I was just like, what are you gonna like? Why are you mad at me, man? Because he literally came out, like darted out and then stopped. I'm like, what the hell do you think this is?
Years ago, I was probably around your age, where I was in a similar situation, and I honked on the horn, swerved around the guy, and threw up the middle finger as I passed.
Flipped the bird.
100 feet down is a red light.
I stopped.
Sure enough, he's right behind me. He gets out. This guy was like the size of this room.
Oh, he got out.
Sure enough, he's walking towards me. I'm like, and I'm telling you, it was right out of a movie. This guy, he was huge. He was 6'5" at least, and he's walking, and I'm like, so I just started locking all the doors. And I did. Well, back then, it's like boom, 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 and then reaching back, and then I'm just sitting there looking straight ahead. And he's right there at the window. He's screaming. He's poking at the window. I'm just sitting there like this.
Open up the window real quick. Let him put his finger in.
Well, again, this is all before power, so it would have been. Just keep your finger there for a minute while I roll him back up.
You had to be quick.
So I did. I just was looking straight ahead. In my head, I'm like, oh my god. And thank God, he just walked away. But
that's where improv comes in handy. Because you'd be like, do I know you? I thought you were my friend. That's why I honked at you. Oh,
right. There was this one time I was joking. It was a joke.
I remember this one time in high school. It was me and my buddy Patrick used to drive me to school like senior year. And I remember we were we drove in, and there's a guy that had the same exact car as my friend William. So he drove in aggressive, honking the horn as a joke, like ding 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 up his ass with the flashlight lights on.
Man.
All of a sudden that car parks, gets out, some like Indian dude spits out a loogie so huge. Bro, I mean this shit, like there was a stain of the floor like this, like the size of like a plate at like an Italian restaurant. Bro. And me and my friend were just like, oh shit. The guy wasn't mad. He just kind of like looked at us. The guy played it off like just so chill, but we were like, what the hell? But the funniest part was just the loogie was so huge. Like, oh my gosh. That was like the fucking biggest take from that whole entire story is it's possible, man. I never saw anything like it. We were dying laughing because he thought it was our friend William. Same as that car, bro. The kid had like a 2003 car, like so rare, but hilarious. We were just like, dude wasn't even mad at us. He was just looking at us and then just went back into his thing.
But left you a little present.
Huge, man. Holy shit. I can't even explain it to you, bro. Like we just both looked at each other like, whoa.
We were, me and my buddy, we were kids. We were like 12 years old or something. We were
young.
And we were teasing a kid that lived down a block from me. And we walked back to my house. And we're just hanging out in front of my house, and the kid walks down, and we're by the front of the house, and he's at the bottom of my driveway. And he goes, "Oh yeah, take this," and he just throws something down in the driveway. We're like, and then he ran. It's like we couldn't tell what it was. We walked out, and he had a pile of shit in his hand, and he just threw it down the driveway.
That's years of being tired of it. That's like, yeah, that's the fucking...
But it wasn't in a bag. He didn't even have a glove. It was in his hand. And so same thing. That's why.
Dog shit, or you think he was just like, and then just.
We assumed it was dog shit. Imagine as he's walking down the block.
Just ripped one. Yeah, homeless people do it, man. It's possible.
I never thought of that. But that's why he reminded me of that just now, because regardless of whatever we were teasing him about, whatever was going on, we just walked away from that, and we just laughed our asses off. Me and John Donovan, I'll never forget it. And just we walked down and see this big pile of shit at the bottom of the driveway, and we just laughed. We laughed for hours. Carol Miner, good morning. So weird not seeing Hugh with him.
Hugh Murray. I love Hugh, man. I think he's got himself a girl right now, so he's been...
Yeah, we've been talking about that. He'll be here tomorrow.
Oh, that looks cool. I came in tomorrow, but I got work. Yeah. I've been trying to come in more, honestly. It's just been busy with...
open invite. You know that you're part of the family. You come in anytime you want. But and we're happy you're here today. But yeah, he's been... I'm kind of like... I'm digging their relationship. Like,
so
everything they post, they're like all over each other and shit. This is kind of cool.
It's like those like the photo albums. When you get like a photo frame and there's like a picture in it before, like that's like every picture, just like loving.
But it's almost getting to the point where it's almost like I'm watching porn.
Yeah.
Like they're all over each other. And then she.
Girls dig comedians.
Yeah, I hope so. Was it yesterday or maybe even today? They posted a photo of them. They went away this weekend.
All right, yes.
They posted a photo of them like kissing on a bed or a couch or some shit.
Okay.
Then the next picture is
them lifting on that.
Yeah, he's lifting her up on the bed, but she's in the other. She's facing the other way. Like when they're lowered, they're
like a 3D 69.
But her caption was "Anytime, any place, babe."
Okay, so
this girl is my freaking hero.
Oh boy, he was getting it. That's
man.
Crazy. That's good for him, man. Shit.
Yeah, I'm jealous. Andy Pajanos, my wife and I have a series of talk-to-text that look like, okay, well, tell him okay, asshole. You want to make your own fucking rules? Tell him I said hi.
That's hilarious.
I had a guy one time, he cut me off, and in the straight, I was in a lane going straight, but he wanted to make a left, so he was holding up all the traffic. So it was one of those times where I kind of leaned a little extra on the horn. As I went around him, he looked at me and he just went,
"Oh yeah, no, you don't want to fuck with that."
That's exactly it. I had a buddy with me, and we said that to each other, like, "Holy shit, we're gonna drive like 8 miles down the road, and all of a sudden he's just gonna be there." Like we were like, and I didn't. When I saw him do that, I was like, I didn't do anything back. I was like, oh.
Tinted windows you don't fuck with. That's certain cars I know not to mess with. I can honestly, with all the experiences I had with car driving, I could write a book about it, like chapter 1, the asshole from Levittown. Like I could like literally go into it, but it's DJ Loaf.
It is not. No, it's telemarketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, man. Me and my friends in high school, what we used to do is we would drive past people, open up the window, and just scream shit out.
Oh yeah,
Like,
we did that
fuck
shit
you,
all the
and then
time.
just-
Yeah. You know,
That was fun, man.
and I actually still do it. If I have people in the car with me, I don't yell "fuck you." I go, Bobby, and I just try to get people to wave back.
Yeah, just try to like say shit. We used to just be like, "Go." We would just say dumb shit, man. Every day from school, we would drive back, and there'd be the Freeport kids because we were from Bolden, so
Right.
we would just like roll down the window and just say shit to them, and it was the funnest shit. And I was like an adrenaline rush for us. But
And it's funny to me, and it doesn't matter if you're freaking 18 or in your 50s. It's
Still
funny to
fun.
me how people react to certain things.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I was driving with a buddy of mine, and there were a bunch of kids walking down the street, and my buddy rolled down the window, and he just went, "Bleh!" like that. And they kind of did one of these, and we kept on driving, had a little laugh. But then I forget why or how, but we ended up seeing these kids again.
Oof. Yeah,
Like maybe 15 minutes later, and they threw a full beer bottle at the car. It hit the back of my car.
broke window.
It actually didn't break anything. I remember being shocked. It was just a loud slam.
It goes to show you how young the kid was. If he doesn't have that much power on his arm, that means that you guys are 12 years
Plus,
old
he
at
gave
least.
up a full beer.
Yeah.
So he's dumb and a
Natty
pussy.
Light, he's like definitely fucking 14.
But it just shocked me. Like, all my buddy did was, "Bleh." Like, did that warrant you causing
Because
damage?
for them, they're in a group and they're just like, they're plotting, like, yo, we see this guy again, bro. We got to get him back. Like, that's how kids' minds work. Everything has to be more serious.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's not just kids. I mean, like, that shit goes on today.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
like,
true.
no matter how old you are, like, the stupidest shit, riles you up, man.
Yeah,
it's
it really
it's
does.
very interesting to me. I always
I haven't done it in so long, but I will say that there's like a few times when like Chris and John was driving like me to like the city and whatever, like when we were going together. I would be in the back seat because like someone else would be in the front. I'd be so tempted to like open up the window and just scream at someone like, "Go fuck yourself!" Like just open up. But I was like I still have the impulse to do it. It's like
the worst right here at Hempstead Turnpike. Me and my buddies. That was, I don't know if it still is, and I don't know if you know, but when I was late teens, early 20s, cruising the Pike is what they called it, and this was
Cruising
the
the
place
Pike.
to go. And
It's old school.
there were a couple of clubs right here in this parking lot that were popular places, but it's pretty much like around where the 135 is off Hempstead Turnpike to right here to Toronto Parkway. That was it. So you just kept circling all the time. We did this for all the time, and we trying to pick up girls or going to the club, whatever it was. But I had this one buddy of mine. He always would sit in the back, and it used to make me nuts. We'd be at a red light or something, like, "Hey, what's up, baby?" Get to talking. I mean,
he would always ruin it.
he would always ruin it. If he
think
was
I've
with
done
us,
that
he would ruin it. He would bury himself in the back seat, and we're talking, and got the window down. What are you doing? And then he would just pop up, "Fuck you, you ugly bitch!" So then I have to, speed away, and I would yell at him every time. "What are you doing? What are you doing that for?" We didn't mind it if the girls were waving us and we didn't like them. Like if they were
whatever,
fat or something. No, I'm kidding.
There's every truth to every joke.
I mean, believe me, it was rare that they were, talking to us. It was always, us trying to hit on them, But yeah, it used to make me nuts how he would do that. Carolina.
I like the segments like comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah, right. Comedians cruising the Pike.
Yeah.
Cruising the Pike was a big night out during our day, says Carol Miner. Yep, some people met and married from cruising the Pike. Are you making fun of me, Carol? I met my first wife from cruising the Pike.
Oh wow, okay. So
Yeah,
it has its benefits.
I wasn't going to say it, but Carol just meant, unless Carol's talking about somebody else. But yeah, that happened to me. And many others. She says, "Oh, I didn't even know that." Yeah, we met a girl and her friend. They were hanging out. They were at a red light. We waved to them. We ended up pulling over. Turned out we worked right around the block from each other, so we had a good time that night.
And then see
But
each other
since
again.
we
everything's meant to be. I'm a true believer in that.
Well, yeah,
as
but,
long as you take action.
but then we ended up divorced.
Oh well. good few years, I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, we were together a total of 9 years.
So I was at this bar on Saturday. I wasn't drinking though, but I was just like, there was like a very there was a tall, pretty girl. But thing with me is like, I feel like since I'm skinny, tall girls want like a tall, big dude. It's the short girls that don't mind if you're skinny or not. So I was like, I'm not even going to. Met a pretty girl there, but
Is that the whole story?
yeah. I was just saying, it was just therapy. It wasn't really a good story. I was just trying to I was just speaking out loud and shit, but I was thinking about it for a second. I was like, fuck it, I'll just shoot this one out. But no, it's true though, because like if you're a tall girl, like, because like I'm tall, so it's like, you know, tall girls have it rough because they're not gonna date a guy shorter.
Yeah, right.
But it's like they hit me and they're like, oh, like fuck, he's just like, I'm bigger than him, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's definitely it's tough pickings out here. So I don't know.
Wasn't Uncle Sam's on the Pike? Yeah, that was actually, Carol. That was one of the clubs. It was right here in this parking lot. It pretty much, yeah, straight in front of us, where we are here at Governor's. Governor's, if for anybody that doesn't know, is in part of a big shopping center. Governor stands on its own, but right across the parking lot is a big shopping center. A Tri-County Flea Market is there. There's a IHOP.
Remember that flea market? Does it still exist, that flea market?
Yeah, it's right there. You can see it as soon as you walk out the door. Yeah, it's
I
right there.
remember when I was young, I remember seeing like they had like some toys. I mean, I was fucking 8 years old. Not like I wasn't like 19 when I went there, but and I remember they had these like cool like Marvel toys. I remember when I was young, that was like something that stuck out to me. I was like, Mom, Dad, let's go back. Never did. But
before the internet.
Yeah.
That was one of the places to be, like
to resell shit.
Yeah, resell shit or just find stuff you're not going to find anywhere else. It used to be mobbed and Christmas time was the worst. You know, trying to get in there to buy gifts,
rare gifts and stuff.
and usually the prices were just cheaper in there. You know, it was a popular place. But yes, Uncle Sam's was there, and Spit was the other famous popular club that was there, and. They were, you know.
Sounds like a fucked up club.
It wasn't. It was actually one of the more. It was, you know, it's typical '80s shit, you know.
Slime.
But actually, I forget if it was Uncle Sam's or Spit. It was really strange. Uncle Sam's. It was the same building, and some nights it would be going. They would say, "All right, tonight it's Spit. Tonight it's Uncle Sam's." Like, and it would.
Oh, so the name would change based on the night. So what was like the regular name of the place? Like.
They had both names on the sign.
Oh, so like the light would just flash for whatever night it was.
I don't know. I don't even know how they would word just kind of got out. Like tonight is a Spit night. Tonight's Uncle Sam's, and like the type of crowd that would show up and the type of music they would play and stuff would be different under each name. And I forget which was which, but you know, one was more like, you know, top 40, you know, pop. The other one was a little more like hard rock.
It was like Uncle Sam night, like all like white people. Like I just.
Oh, either way, it was pretty much all white people. Yeah, I mean.
I can't imagine it, you know, being diverse night. Uncle Sam
but
night.
But I remember. I mean, I was even a little young at the time, but I do remember hearing about this up and coming girl who was a singer, who was playing there, and freaking Madonna.
For real.
Yeah.
Like a virgin, man.
Yeah, it was even before that.
For real.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
So she was like just okay.
Yeah, she was just coming up.
It's funny. Someone was telling me this like Sebastian Maniscalco story when he said he's performing at Gotham. He's like, yo, you got to check this guy out. His name is Sebastian Maniscalco. He's really funny, whatever. He said he saw him, and then like 6 months later, fucking dude was everywhere.
Same here. So, he played here.
Killed it.
Killed it, and he was starting to, you know, pick up. And he did a bunch of nights. I forget if it was just a weekend or I forget how many shows, but like he sold out a bunch of shows. And the story is that, you know, these guys were, you know, they went to pay him at the end of the run of shows, and it was a pretty good amount of money. He took the check, he looked at it, started crying, and he immediately, and he says, "Can I use your phone?" Because I think there's, might have even been, I think this before cells. Call, or even if he had a cell, whatever it was, but he picked up a phone right then and there. Calls his dad, crying, telling him, "Look, I can't believe I made, you know, this amount of money, Dad. You know, things are changing." So excited, then telling governors, you know, I'll never forget this. You know, this is my home club. I love this place. I love you guys. I'll never forget you, and I'll be true to this place. They haven't seen him since.
Isn't that crazy? Damn. I thought that was a good story until I heard that part.
But it's funny because now he's got that movie coming out about, I think, right? It's about him and his relationship with his dad,
yeah,
I think, right?
Hopefully it's good, you know. I see a few comedic. That's crazy, though. I mean, like, damn.
Yeah.
Good opportunity. I definitely, I feel like I could like relate in a sense when you get like, when like good things are happening and like you just kind of, I remember after my first show, I called my parents.
Oh, sure.
Like, they had no idea I was doing it, so I just wanted to call them and like let them know, like, hey guys, it went good, and I started this. And they were like, oh shit.
They had no idea? Did they know you were getting into comedy?
No, they had no idea. They knew nothing about it. They didn't even know I was going that night. They just thought I was going fucking do something to my friend.
Out your friend. So you called them up and said, I'm at, it was here?
No, it was at some bar in Patchogue, but
okay.
I did honestly for my first show ever. I freaking did really. I'm not even like just busting my own bubble and shit because I'm very understanding of myself. Like I know when I don't do good. I know.
Oh
when I
sure,
do good.
yes,
Like,
and you are. I'll verify that.
appreciate that because I have like even like a short clip and like I knew I did good that night and I remember just fucking like after I was just like, wow, I was like, this was better than because the night before I kept thinking, you know, in your head you're imagining everything going perfect, and then you know in reality it probably won't. But everything of how I pictured in my head went exactly to a T.
Wow.
I remember I was just like, whoa, called my parents. They were just like, they were in shock. They were like, wait, you're there now? I was like, yep. And then I was like, I just went up. I was like, they loved me. It went great. And then they were just like, oh, that's crazy. And then.
So why didn't you tell them?
You know what it was? Because like I'm like funny with my parents, but I think your parents like always just like, they think that you're funny for them, but they probably don't know how you'd be in the real world with it. Because I threw subtle hints to them. I would be like, yeah, me and my friends would tell me I should do stand up, and then they would kind of be like, "Hey, you don't really want to do that, you know, like whatever." And I was just kind of like testing the waters. I was like, "All right, you know."
So this is before you even took
yeah, I started comedy,
Walker and Bale's class.
Yeah, I took it way before I took the class. I started comedy, and I think I started comedy in June. I took that class in February.
Oh, okay.
So I just did it just like I never been to the brokerage, and I thought it'd be a cool experience, which it was. I learned a lot, but yeah, I never told my parents until that day, and it's cool, you know, like just seeing it like now everybody in my family and you know like good opportunities are coming and just like just very appreciative and like honestly it's just like a dream come true every time and shit. Like every time I told Jay I have this tradition where if it's always like if it's a show like an actual like a real comedy show like that like a club produces or something like that or it's like a contest or something, every time I always blast My Way by Frank Sinatra on the way home, just fucking full blast. It's like a tradition for me. Cause it's just like, for me, like with that song, like not resembles, what that song like means is basically saying like overcoming shit. And I just feel like it's just like, you know, for me, it's just big opportunities, you know, just very appreciative of everything. So nice.
That's cool.
That's why I like that Sebastian Maniscalco moment because I've like felt that and shit. Where sometimes like I'll call my friends and I'll just be like, bro, I just can't even believe this this shit or something. It's just crazy, man.
And what? And last night you were here. Who?
Marcy Green that produced it.
Marcy Green.
Yeah, she's nice. She's a nice lady. She does like a lot of city stuff. So she's been doing shows here on Sundays like pretty frequently now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's producing.
Was she the hot one?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I met her. Yeah, I met her last night. Never. My apologies. I never heard of her. I didn't know anything. And then met her last night. Very funny.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun. We ended up in here recording some stuff, and
that's nice.
It was her, Michelle Fox, Riley Lassen from the city, and Olga Namer. And yeah, it was interesting.
It's funny, yeah.
And that's what Bosie's referring to. And I'm waiting on Richie for that because Richie ended up in here with us too.
Oh, for real.
It was it was an interesting time.
Yeah. It's funny, Jeff Bosie, during my set, I told the crowd to give him like a round because he was cutting through, and I was like, you know, guys, I'll give it up for Jeff Bosie.
Oh, really?
Retired comic crowd side, and he was like, he was so happy and shit. I had the crowd going crazy for him.
I could just see him doing
the eyes closed, just like he's like, oh, don't do that. And he took off his hat and was just like, and then what's it called? Freaking after that, I forgot like the next bit to my shit. I was like, I even said to the crowd, I was like, fuck, I was like, I shouldn't have wasted on that. I forgot what I had to say, and they started laughing too. And then I was like, fuck Jeff was now playing it. Then that was funny, man. Jeff was funny. I was eating like chicken tenders and fries here, and Jeff's like, you're not gonna finish that and stuff. Like I think this was like a few days back, so he's betting that I wasn't gonna finish it. I finished everything, and there was like a little like crumb left over. He's like, I saw them bring it back. I was like, Jeff, are you kidding me? That's what I was. I might write a bit about this. It's like if I don't eat, people say something like, "Oh, kid, you need to eat a sandwich." Right, when I do eat, they shit on me for eating. They're like, "Oh, don't eat too fast. Don't get full." Oh wow, look at this kid. He's actually eating. So I'm like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Like, you know, as far as that, so I may do.
People are never happy, man. It's like a band. People, they're like, oh, they didn't play their hits, but then when they do play, they're like, oh, they're just retro.
Yep, exactly.
What do you want?
I want to do a bit about that because I think it's so funny because it's like you guys tell me this advice and then I do it and then you guys shit on me for doing it. Like, you know, I want to. I think it'll be funny. You know, I just gotta figure out how to word it.
I tried a new joke last night and it fucking bombed.
Oh, well,
and I was like, I'm out there. I'm like, and I even said, I was like, all right, well, I tried that one. That one's being tossed in the garbage, and that got a little bit of a laugh. I was like, ah.
It's good when you counter it with something, you know. Like I have my two aces, like everything hit yesterday except like my two big jokes I usually hit. So after the first time, I was like, that's a good fucking joke. You guys just really. I was like, that's not appreciative. And then they like started clapping, whatever. I did my second joke. It's this joke, like this albino joke. It's so funny. I feel like it's so creative, and they didn't really laugh, laughed it hard at. And I was like, you guys just don't understand good comedy. And I was just laughing I was fucking with them for that. And I was like, I got an applause break. I was like, I had to force that applause break, but I was like, it's fucking deserved, man. And they were laughing at that. So.
And so, so Marcy Green. Who else was on that? Was Dan here?
No, he didn't make it. I know
he was supposed to be, right?
I think so. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, so I wouldn't even know.
Oh, okay.
I know it was Marcy Green, Evan Weiss, me, Gotham Green, Justin something. I forgot his last name.
Gotham
Bridget.
Green. That's the guy's name.
Yeah, as the host.
Oh,
God, I don't know if that's his real name, but I'd be
right.
I'd be a sick fucking first name.
What do you call? What do you call him? Call him Gotti.
Yeah, GG
or
Gotham
God
Green.
Gotcha.
Gotham, yeah, that's a cool name. I just think of Batman, honestly, when I think of
yeah,
Gotham.
right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like
Gotham. It's just so dark.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a fun show, man. So it was a good turnout.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Honestly, it was a cool weekend. You know, Friday I was like Giggle Room for Terry. Saturday, host the brokerage, and then Sunday I was here for the Giggle Room. So it was like, got to spend my weekend just doing all governor stuff. So
That's
that was
cool.
Like, that was freaking cool for me, man.
Mm-hmm. I always I can't think of a bad time I've had here.
I love this club, honestly,
Yeah.
more than anything. I put this club at like the number one of like everything. Everything I want to accomplish, like this club is like always number like one
Yeah,
for me. Like
absolutely.
So if I ever have a gig or something like that, and like I have to do something here, I'll cancel that gig. I don't care where it is. It could be at the Comedy Cellar. I'll be like, hey, I got stomach virus. Boom. Whatever.
Well, I know Jay does that too. When somebody books him, he'll say, "Well, I'm there unless Governor's calls me." I know he does that. And oh my God, he tore it up. And I know we were talking. He had a great weekend.
I was in the green room and I'm like, my fucking ears are bleeding blasted. I was like, damn, Jay is murdering. Everything you say, you just hear it. It's almost seemed like some Tonight Show type. Like
yes,
like it was crazy.
It was like eruption. You know,
Saturday he murdered too. So here's a funny story. So like I asked Jay, I was like, how do you want me to bring you up? Like you want me to say anything? He was like, yo, just say standing next to the refrigerator. I was like, all right. So I brought him up doing that.
Standing next to the refrigerator?
He's like, I was like, you may catch him standing next to the refrigerator, like something like that. So I was like, all right, I got you. I did it.
That's great.
And fucking, bro, like, I guess he had something prepared. Lit me up. He was like, look at this fucking kid. He's like, for 30 cents a day, whatever. So like, it was so fun.
So he set you up.
Yeah. The crowd was loving it though, so I didn't care. You know, I'm always for a good laugh. So the crowd was like, he's like, you should have just brought me up as his fucking polar opposite. Crowd's loving him. Murders. And I wanted to go up and make a joke. I was going to be like, Jay's like a New Year's resolution. You see him and you want to like go to the gym and work out. But I was like, I couldn't. The crowd loved him so much. If I had said anything about him, they would have just been like,
yep.
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I just had to be like, all right, you guys ready for your headliner? Like,
yeah.
Should I ignore it? Because he freaking murdered, man. Dude's an animal. So
we had, Tom McGuire was in the show with us last night. Yes, he had a great set.
He's a funny dude. Killer.
But when I introduced him, I said, because he was on, I think, there were 10 of us that went up. I think he was like 4 or 5. So I said, are you next comedian? I said, he's a young guy. I said, but he's up and coming. I said, you're going to love him. I said, but we had to bring him out early because it's almost his bedtime.
Yeah, that's a great one.
He comes out. I mean, it's not the most original line.
Still,
he's probably heard it before. He came out like he had a look on his face like he wanted to just kick me in the nuts.
For real?
Yeah. So I just shook his hand. I said, you're the man. He was just nodded his head. I'm like, oh, sorry.
I love that. Even if someone like makes a joke, as long as someone doesn't like shit on me. Like I did this urban show and some dude lit me up before I got up on the stage. He was like, yo man, y'all been shitting on me for what I'm wearing. Wait till you see what this next kid's wearing. I was like, what the fuck? And then he's still shitting. I mean, just going. And I'm like, I was.
And you didn't know him?
No, I was looking at the audience member. I was like, yo, is this dude gonna let me get up and shit? Or are we just gonna like
wow.
got up? Yeah, just like set me down and all of a sudden ate it. And then I go to my seat and then he's like, yo man, good stuff. That was good material. They didn't appreciate you. And I'm looking at him like, dude, I'm like, because you fucking dug me into a grave. I was like, I just climbed out by the time my set was over. Like, you know.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because he was wearing this, like, I mean, I shit on him when he was wearing this tie-dye shirt. I was like, this like shirt like looks like a tampon, like in the garbage or something. I was like, he's making fun of my outfit. And they were laughing at him for that. But it's just like, he set me down so far. It was just so brutal. I didn't want to go up on that shit. I just went there for my friend to watch. And they were like, oh, you going to do a spot? I was like, whatever.
It sure looks like a tampon in the garbage.
He's wearing this tie-dye shirt, but I was already in so deep, like they just didn't respect me because they're all like looking at me like, what is he wearing? Like I was just wearing sweatpants. I wasn't prepared for a show. I just wanted to chill and that was the brutal one, man. That shit.
That's such a great line, but you can't use that everywhere.
Yeah, nah, it's just the tie-dye shirt.
I would
and
love to use that.
It
Holy
came into
shit.
me because like he was just like he wanted on me so hard, and I'm like thinking I was like, all right, I got to say something because I can't go through. I'm like, hey guys, how we doing? Like I had to like think of something to be like, let's give it up for this dude, whatever. But
the first time I ever saw Joey Cola, Governors used to have a club out in Melville, out east.
Oh, they did. Wow.
Yeah, years ago. And I mean, this is like 2000, I think. 2000. No, it was 2002. And
2 years old, by the way. Depending what month.
This was, I think, like August or September of 2002.
Okay, so I was one still. I was one still actually. The record shows.
Yeah, my son was one at the time. Yeah.
Birthday was coming up, but
yeah. So we were there because they booked us to do a murder mystery there, and so I went there the day like the day before, maybe even the. No, I'm sorry. I went there to just go over things with the guy, and there Joey was there. First time I knew who he was. First time I ever met him, and I had a quick chat with him. And I forget if Joey was playing that night or the next day, but they were like, come on down. I'm like, oh, okay. They gave me, my elbow was on the stage. Joey's right there. And there was a guy in the next table over with this real funky shirt, and Joey just went off, and he said his shirt looked like his pool liner. I laughed my ass off. I mean, it was kind of like that. Had like that weird, like squiggly lines and like bubbles. Like it was perfect line. And I admit it flat out. When I'm doing my crowd work at my murder mystery shows, I occasionally bring that one out if I see a shirt that looks like it.
There's ones that you have to. I feel like for me, I have stuff. I'm pretty good with crowd work. Like I'm decent. I'm learning. I did this show in the city. It was like they choose 3 topics out of a bucket that the audience writes.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
So I think my topics was I did anal plug, fur coat, and something about the Midwest. And I
know a lot about all 3 of those topics, do you?
I was going more in on the anal plug shit, and I was like, I tapped in like the fur coat towards the end of the Midwest thing, but I was I honestly went pretty good, man. I wasn't nervous or anything. I just kind of like I just trusted myself. I'm like, it's just like being with your friends now, like, and the audience knows that you're going off the cuff, so
right.
I did well. So I was just I like it though. Sometimes I try to like throw in crowd work and like set, even like yesterday, I would do it for a little bit until like they would kind of like leave me for a second, you know, because I would just like keep like talking about the birthday girl or something like that,
right?
And just throwing a tag or whatever. But for me, it's fun, you know. I just feel like it brings the biggest laugh because it's so spontaneous and everybody just feels it. So I love it.
I'm a huge fan of it. I do it all the time in our murder mysteries. It's like half of our show is crowd work, and they love that shit. But
it's so real.
But it's not an easy thing, and it can go flat so quick. And it was really strange. I was actually talking to James last night before the show started. And we started talking about crowd work. I mean, he hates crowd work, James. He's like, I want to see material.
Material's
so,
like where it's at.
Which I get it, totally understand. But I agree. I do think crowd work sometimes goes over well. So, and then we did talk about a certain comedian that does almost all crowd work, and he hasn't been here in a few years because the last time he was here, like, you know, maybe 100 tickets. I don't even think 100 tickets were sold. You know,
he's promoting the crowd to freaking talk and, you know, whatever.
Right.
Like, I was doing something yesterday, and like the room like kind of like got quiet for a second. Not like because like it was like anything offensive or anything. Just making jokes about the birthday girl. And, like the room kind of got quiet. I was like, you guys like know the birthday girl or some shit? I'm like, am I stepping on strings? And they started dying laughing. I was like, do you guys like not like her or whatever? Because I said something. I was like, yeah, the birthday girl knows what I'm talking about, and then just like whatever. But it's like you're almost letting people know like, hey, talk to me. So like me and my friend Luke will always like do this fucking joke of like any married couples, any married like when we're just like chilling in the green room, like we'll do shit like that. But it's just funny, man.
I picked on a guy once sitting right there on the first seat, and he's on his phone. So I said whatever joke I had, and I said the punchline, and he's so engrossed what he's doing, he didn't even hear it.
Care, yeah.
So I bent over, I'm right next to him, I repeated the punchline like 3 times before he realized what I was doing. He looks up, I go, put that phone down. So last night, same thing, a woman, first seat, she's not on her phone, she's eating, but she's like not paying any attention at all. And
for her, just night out to eat.
Right. So I didn't repeat the punchline, but I said something like, I forget what I said to her, but she just kind of, like, because when I yelled at the guy on the phone, I got a big reaction. So now this one, and the guy was cool about it. But this time, the woman looked up, and she just gave me this look like she wanted to murder me. and I asked her something like, "You all right over there?" She said, "I'm fine." Like she wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So so the whole thing fell flat, and that's the hard thing about crowd work, man. You just don't know. It's a big gamble.
Literally.
So as soon as that happened, I'm like, fuck. So now I'm just trying to carry on at that point. You try to bounce back and you try to, it's never as bad as we think it is when we're up there. But you feel like you just brought the room down to the lowest level, and now you got to climb back
faster.
up.
Yeah, everything's going.
Yeah, but then once the hype of the night is over, then you can think back like, okay, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as you yeah.
But it still sucked.
I feel like with that, if you're gonna commit, you just gotta fully commit. Like with me, if I do something that doesn't laugh, I'll just fuck around. I'll just shrug my shoulders. I'm like, okay, all right. Until they start laughing and shit, and then I'll be like, yeah, I'm just trying shit out, whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. For me, it's I can't remember the last time I just sat there and I was just had to just be like, all right, so the other day, what's the next topic? I usually just keep going until they acknowledge something. I'm like, yes, because stare at me. It's all good. I like it, and then they'll laugh, and then I'll go to my next bit.
Did you ever see Tim Gage years ago? He was supposed to host in here. They had him down for hosting, and I think I have talked to him about it. I think his story was he didn't know. He was, I think, in Jersey or some shit. On his way to Long Island, coming back. Well, he lives here, but on his way to Long Island because he knew he was performing that night. But he claims they never told him he was hosting. So he had traffic. He was going to make it in time to go up and do a set, but he wasn't going to make it in time for the start of the show. So they had called him, where are you? He's like, what do you mean? I'm on my way. They're like, but you're hosting. He's like, you never told me I'm hosting. I'm not going to make that. So Truson ended up hosting, and it's on YouTube. It's freaking hilarious. So Truson's hosting, and at one point he tells the audience, okay, so we have this comedian, Tim Gage. He's not here yet. He's on his way. But when he gets here, no matter what he says, you guys don't laugh. So he comes out, and you see it in his face, because you know what's going on. It's subtle, but you can see in his face.
Tim Gage, everybody, letting them know.
But even Gage himself, once he's out there telling the jokes, you see, he's, once in a while you just see him kind of looking. And eventually he's like, hey, look, these are the jokes, people. These are the jokes. And they're still not reacting. Finally, he's into it a little bit, and he finally goes, he stops. He goes, did they tell you not to laugh at my jokes? And then they all started applauding. It is freaking hilarious. I love stuff like that, man.
Me too.
I love stuff like that. Even last night with Richie, I mean, the show was like a Butera show last night in here. The show went over 2.5 hours for 10 comedians. Which, they never really...
I think the good thing is it was such a good audience. I feel like it usually matches. I feel like sometimes when there's a lot of comics, the audience is usually amazing and they're into it. Because that was a great room. I walked past oof, I'm jealous. That room was really amazing.
It was a good show. It was a great energy. It was a fantastic audience. Even for a show that went over 2.5 hours, they were into it. They were having fun. Thank goodness. But Richie, the whole time backstage, Richie was headlining. And he was like, I thought I'd be home by now. And he was like, it was my fault. He didn't know how much time he had, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you how much time they were giving you." He's like, "Are you kidding?" He goes, "This lady goes, I don't care." He goes, "You can light me at 3 minutes." So we were coming up on his first 3 minutes, and I turned to Keegan. I was like, "I would love to go out there and just light him at 3 minutes, or walk out on the stage. Sorry, 3 minutes, But and Richie would probably be a good sport with it, but I didn't have the balls to do it. I didn't have the balls.
I've done that to my friend. I think once. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I literally just got up on stage, took the mic out, and I put the flash on. He had just taken it out, and I was like, it's not going.
So what did he do?
Honestly, I feel like he just smiled. I think it was my friend Luke, or I don't know if he did it to Luke or Dan.
Luke's a funny dude, man.
Yeah, he's great, man. I should have told him to come down today, honestly.
Oh, that would have been cool.
He's killer, man. He's me and him actually we're writing we write scripts and stuff.
Oh, really?
So yeah, man. Me and him are trying to do that stuff. He's put together some really good shit recently that we've read back and forth, and we have a few ideas that we're trying to touch now. So
nice.
We're gonna get into that soon enough. We just gotta find days where we're both free. But he's killing it, man. He writes fucking scripts a lot, and
wow,
he's got a great mind. Yeah. So.
I gotta tell you, man, you hear it on a regular basis around here about you guys, the latest crop of comedians that are coming in.
The rookie class.
I mean, a lot of guys are. I mean, there's been other groups that have come in where this is. You can almost kind of feel it, like, oh, this is a good group. They get it. They're talented. They're fun.
Appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, it comes up often around here, and it's always you and Dan are always the first two names. But yeah,
Tom
Luke
too,
has been
man.
mentioned. Tom's name is coming up more and more these days. Even last night, he wasn't scheduled. He was just here, and yeah, James was like, "You're," and he goes, "Oh, I'm just hanging out." He goes, "No." He goes, "You're here. You're going up." And I even said to the crowd afterwards, I go, "Tom McGuire." I said, "You guys have to remember that name." Because it's
funny, man. He kills me. Even in the giggle room, he did a spot right after me. It freaking killed.
Oh, did he?
The thing is, like, we both have like material about being young and shit, and it was funny, man. Even like with like the type of like the same like ideology, like we're both young dudes, still had them fucking whatever. So
we had the same thing last night. We had Jay go up, Keegan won on right after him. You have two guys that are doing a lot of fat jokes.
Seriously.
And then even and I remember even talking to Mike before he went up, which I was hoping to talk about even with Richie, but it's getting late. I don't know if he's even coming. But we were talking as Jay was up, like.
Do you ever get nervous? Like,
Well, no, but not so much that. Just as far as material, because Jay's up there doing, 90% fat jokes, and then Mike has, a lot of fat jokes too. But and Mike even said a couple of times, "Oh shit, I can't do that now, and I can't do this now." And it was interesting to me because I'm like, "You're Mike Keegan. You've been doing this for a while now. You have tons of material. Like, it surprised me that he'd have to really kind of think about. Like, I just assumed, like, in that case, like I would assume he didn't even have to worry about what he was going to go up there and do.
Yeah.
And then Jay even does some stuff about weed. Mike has some stuff about weed, but still, I'm like, I just figured Mike would be like, all right, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this. Like, but you could tell he was kind of sitting there like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? I'm like, so to me that was, but same thing. So he went out there and he did some of his fat material and his weed jokes, and yeah, they were going with
weird.
it.
Yeah, sometimes
because a lot of people tell you not to.
Yeah, they're like, if this guy's gonna do it, that's.
And I've even seen comedians go, look, I know you got a bit about this, but I was going to try this on that same topic. Can you not? And, oh yeah, no problem. Try it. Let's see what happens.
But it shows like how good the material is. Like, if you really trust yourself, and just go up there and just commit to it. Because like I like how like Keegan will start. Keegan like, I'm the other fat guy on the show. Like, so
he said that last night.
So the crowd like loves it. Like we all have like our little things. Like if I follow Peter Bills, I have this joke about how I used to have a teacher that wanted to have sex with me. I'm like, his name is Peter Bills.
Yes.
I usually do that. So it's like there's like certain like people, if you follow them, you have your go-tos or something like that.
Well, I think that show we did back in December, was that the first time you did it? You said that about Bales? Because I remember Bales sitting there in the green room, and he was writing something down, and he actually stopped. He goes,
oh,
what did he say?
That was the first.
That was the first. Yeah, because I remember him saying, "What did he say? What did he say?" And we had to tell him what you said.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, that's fantastic." Yeah.
And I did it one time at McGuire's, and I apologized out there. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I hate to just being like whatever, but hey, how are you?
There he is.
You got somebody.
What happened?
Last time you give me all shit because you didn't do it. I rushed here and you got somebody.
You rushed here?
I almost, I'm not going to lie, I was like 10:30. I kept clicking snooze on my alarm clock, and then I was like, oh, fuck.
Kumar, you ready? So I bagged 400.
Was that the weirdest shit last? I don't know what the hell happened.
What was going on?
So we started the show today.
Saved you the king
That's right.
seat.
You deserve the.
I do.
Of course you do. Which actually, that's right. You hate this year, don't you?
It's all right. I can handle it.
Richie Byrne is here, ladies and gentlemen.
I wearing the same outfit. That's the last time I was.
Yeah, you got stuck here with me last night. I don't know what in the world happened. So yeah, Bose even mentioned when we started the show. Bose commented on it. He goes, "Did you even bother going home?" So we did the show last night. Richie was the headliner, crushed it. Joe was in the giggle room and crushed it. We had a good night. We had. I actually said to Joe a few minutes ago, it was like a Butera show because our show was like a marathon last night. So we. But after the show,
I got paid the same way too.
I gotta be nice to John right now.
You could have watched the Oscars and then come here
dude,
to do the show.
I know. I could have accepted the award for Brendan Fraser and flew back.
But then after the show, it's at this point it's I don't know 10:30 at night. We're at the bar and James, I'm talking to. I think it was I talking to you? I think I was talking to you and Keegan when James came over and said, "I need you for a minute."
Oh yes.
Yeah,
for a minute.
Well, right.
I'm just gonna get a tissue real quick.
Yeah, sure. So
cocaine, baby, cocaine.
Yeah. See, that's why he's skinny.
No, because this whole time I've been trying to fight it since I was the only person. I was just like, let me just get a tissue now.
So I walk off with James. He's standing at the bar with Riley Casson, Olga Namer, Marcy Green, and Michelle Fox. And he brings me over, and I don't know. I don't even know how it happened. The next thing I know, we're in here. And
I'm out there waiting to get paid.
Oh, is that what it was?
And then I'm like, well, let me go by the door and wave. So I knocked and I waved. And Jimmy goes, something, oh, good. He's going to pay me. He goes, sit over here. Get on the mic. I'm like, really?
And I mean, it was cool. I mean,
Jimmy's one of the funniest human beings.
Oh, absolutely.
He really is, man.
But it started off with the girls, because it was before you walked in. It was started off with the girls talking about blowjobs, talking about threesomes. I'm like, oh, this is fun. And all four of them are hot. I'm like,
I'm going to have fun editing this.
But then James starts going on, and it became almost like a Q&A with James.
Well, by the time I got there, the girls were almost like,
yeah, he had some stories.
Funny, funny. Michelle Fox just kept asking him questions.
Yes.
Like Michelle Fox she's like, so how many women have you slept with? So we're like, what the hell?
And I'm still waiting because I guarantee I'm getting a text. You didn't air that, right? You didn't. That wasn't live. All that stuff. Because I mean, and that's what I even said to you last night. I'm gonna have to, because there's no way I can use any of the things that James was talking about.
No, well, you couldn't hear him.
Well, yeah, but he wanted it that way. But yeah, I mean, because I like to edit it down because there were some funny stuff, and these girls are hilarious.
I'll tell you, he was funny.
Oh, he's so funny.
I mean, I gotta say, he and I was thinking about this last night. I don't know why, but he and Laura, his wife, they just make this place amazing. Like
Yep.
You walk in and you get treated so well here.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, I'm like, there's a lot of clubs I go to. They're great. But here, it's like a different, you know what I mean?
We were talking about that earlier. Yeah, this is just, and even the audiences. Did you ever have a bad show here?
No.
Right.
No.
The audiences, and even last night, the show that we did was over 2.5 hours.
Yeah. See, I got lucky.
They were with us the whole way.
I got lucky because Keegan went on before me, and they hated him. So.
When you say they, you mean the other comics or just everybody?
Everybody.
Yeah. Yep.
You met him. He's hateable.
Hateable.
So, yeah, but I was thinking that like Laura makes you feel like you're in her home. And
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're great people. They really are.
Yeah.
I like the music they play after. I'm like so into that, man.
What, the old 50s music?
Oh, bro, I loved it. I was at Umberto's recently, and they were playing like old Sinatra shit. I'm just I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. Like I love that. To me, it's just like such like a nice.
You're an old soul.
Yeah.
I am. Then I'm going to brag for a minute. The music, the before. I don't know about after. I think, but before the show, that music was all put together by me.
Hey, okay.
And even the announcements, if you listen, some of them are me. Not all of them, but some of them.
Gotcha. I don't remember the songs before, to be honest with you. I'm not like, I just remember like the afterwards.
He's too in the zone.
Yeah.
He's back here practicing.
Ready to rock.
Afterward, I think it's all. Well, yeah, there's a little Sinatra. Then don't they? I think they play the whole Stranger album at some point, don't they?
Probably. It's Long Island. You have to.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You can't have a business
one thing I
without
learned when I
Billy Joel
moved
music.
to Long Island. You better be ready to listen to a lot of Billy Joel.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. Everywhere. How did and speaking of which, how did you end up here? You're from where? Staten Island?
Ah, yes, I'm from Staten Island.
Because you're getting into comedy and show business. You're supposed to go the other way.
I went the wrong way.
Was it?
My whole life.
Was it for a woman?
Yeah, you heard last night. You know what it was. I told the story last night.
I didn't know. I didn't hear this last night.
Yeah, remember Jimmy said. He said, "How long have you been married?" And I said, "It'll be 19 years."
Okay, I remember that.
He said, "Where'd you meet your wife?" because he knew, because I met my wife at the brokerage.
Oh, yes,
I
you
told
did
the story
say that.
about my
Yes.
wife was in the front row by herself, and Rich walked. I left to go drink. I actually remember exactly what it was. Believe it, I can't believe it. It was August 17th, 1996, because it was my niece's birthday.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how I remember this. And the Jets and the Giants were playing pregame, and I wanted to
Most
go.
Long Island story ever.
So I ran over to Quiggs to watch the Giant Jet game, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I got to get back and hit on that girl.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
well,
watching
like
the
Robin
game.
Williams, Good Will Hunting. I got to see about a girl. And Miss Fisk's big hit.
And I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden people started coming and going, hey, you're funny. You're funny. And I'm like, thanks. What? Like, they realized they came over from the bar, from brokerage.
Right.
The show's over.
Ah.
So now I go out the door, and it was raining. I left this part out. It was raining, and I ran over the brokerage. And it was really coming down. It just started. And as I got to brokerage, I got to the front door, and I looked, and Rich Walker was talking to some girl. And I just walked in to brokerage, and I realized that's the girl.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess Walker's making a move.
He's cock blocking.
It's like the James Blunt music video, of You're So Beautiful. It's like because it's raining.
That's the weirdest song ever.
It's his only
God,
good song,
I can't believe you brought that up because that song's so creepy. He's just creepy. So, thanks, man. Now I got to think about that the rest of the time. So I'm sitting at the bar, and Walker comes in and goes, dude, what are you doing? I've been keeping her here. I've been talking to her to keep her here. So Walker was just trying to hold her up because he knew I was coming back.
Oh, he knew? Like
We had talked about it. I said, I
okay.
got to find out who that girl is.
Oh, okay.
We all thought she was like a critic for like a local paper because she sat alone.
Yeah, why was she by herself?
She went on a date with a doctor. I always tell people she was on the date with the doctor, but she wasn't. She went on a date with a doctor. She didn't like him. She feigned like a headache. He took her home. It was only like 7:30. She lived around the corner. She was all dressed up. She goes, well, I'm not going to sit home. I'm ready to go out. So she went to the brokerage.
Oh, wow.
And for some reason, and my wife's not like this, for some reason, she said, no, I'll sit in the front. And she sat in the front, like on one of the top tables.
Yeah.
And me, Rich Walker, and Rich Seisler were the three comics. And we're all like, why is that pretty girl sitting alone? Like, what?
Yeah.
And we all thought she was like a critic. No one messed with her.
Yeah,
no
right,
one said
right.
a word. And after the show, she's like, you guys like didn't care that I was alone. We were like, we totally cared. But without, so we go. She comes in and we start talking. And there was a second show, and I said, listen, I really wanted to go back to Quiggs to watch the Giants.
Some Long Island shit.
And it was preseason. That's the funny.
Right, it didn't even matter, yeah.
That's like fucking, that's
hardcore.
That's
so
big time.
I convinced her to go over to Quiggs to have a drink. And we're at Quiggs and we're watching the game. It turned out she liked football, which really
that's a keeper right there.
So we're watching the game, and then I got to go back because I'm the middle act. I got to go back. So I go, listen. Oh, I know what happened. Gary, the owner at the time, Gary Smith.
Right.
We needed an umbrella because it was pouring out. So Gary finds some goddamn umbrella behind the oven. It's like all different colors, blue and red and white. Huge umbrella, and it's all rusted. It's got rust on it. It was behind the oven for like 20 years. And so,
that is so weird.
So, we're over at Quiggs, and we're having a drink. We're talking, whatever. So I go, listen, we got to go back because I got another show to do. And she goes, well, you got to go back. I don't have to go back. I'm watching the game.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you, she goes, just go do your show and meet me here. And I'm like, this is going to be a problem because if I walk back into that comedy club without you, they're never going to believe. They're going to think I failed.
Right.
And she's like, well, tell them to come back to Quiggs.
Yeah.
So I go back to brokerage. I walk in the door, and everybody, Seisler, Walker, Gary Smith, the cook, no one's working. Everybody's, the waitresses, and I go, this fucking,
What the fuck?
and I walk in the door, I'll never forget, I go, she's at the bar. She's waiting for me, and they're all like, bullshit. And Gary Smith goes, where's my umbrella? I'm like, she's got it. He goes, she's leaving. Like, he was so upset. I go, you didn't even know that umbrella was there until 20 minutes ago.
That was his favorite umbrella.
Oh, my God, dude. I'm on stage doing the second show, and I'm like, if this girl isn't a Quigs, I'm going to be so mortified. Yeah.
Did you like do it like you set at super speed?
Oh, yeah. And everybody ran over to Quigs. I even told the audience, and the audience everybody went to Quigs.
Oh, you told everybody in the set about this girl?
The audience.
That's fantastic.
I'll tell you a funny story. So, because we didn't get engaged for like 8 years.
Wow.
I just couldn't pull the trigger, right? And then I always came up with excuses. I don't have any money. So,
was it true?
Huh?
Was it true?
Oh, yeah. So, dude, welcome. Good luck.
That's how I say she left the doctor for comedian.
Good luck.
Must have had some game, bro.
Yeah, right.
Nah.
Said some nasty shit at Quigs.
No, she had the game. So, it's her birthday. I'll never forget this. It's her birthday. And I'm out of gifts, like 8 years of gifts that aren't engagement rings.
Right.
We're done. Like, there's no other gift I could possibly. So, I don't know. I completely go cold. Like, I don't handle it. Like, it was almost like when you have a major test and you just don't study because you're
right.
like, I don't know what to do. I'm flopped. So the morning, I'll never forget, she gets up. It's her birthday. She comes down. She goes, what'd you get me? And I go, I don't have any money. I don't have any. And she goes, you know what? I can't take it. She goes, I have a credit card here that I just got. It's got no interest for a year. We're going to go to the store, and you're going to buy me a fucking ring with this new credit card, and you're going to pay the credit card off. And I'm like, all right. So we go to the jewelry store, and we pick out a ring. And they said the ring she got kind of had a match for the wedding ring. So they were like, well, you might as well get everything. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, and then
this is the most romantic engagement story ever.
I'll never forget this. The woman behind the counter goes, well, you're done. And I remember thinking in my head, wow, that wasn't, like in my mind, I thought like that the floor was going to open up and Satan. And I go, I'm done? She goes, yeah, you're done. I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad. And then she goes, all you need now is your ring. And I go, I get a ring? So we bought my ring, which I never wear. I hate jewelry. And so now we leave the store, the jewelry store, and my wife turns to me, she goes, I go, wow, we're done. And she goes, we're not done. This is not how you're going to propose to me. This is
right.
the worst. I have never seen anything like that. She goes, you better come up with a really cool way to propose to me that I'm not going to see coming. And I am not, how I'm a comic is beyond me because I'm the most unoriginal human being I've ever met.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with that.
I have no ideas. So a few months go by. I'm working at the brokerage. By the way, she paid off the credit card.
You got her fooled somehow, man.
He's got game, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know what? If Rick Adonis sees this, he's going to kill me. Because he's going to be like, that should have been on Drinks, Jokes, and Stories.
I was actually just thinking that. Like,
So-
you got great stories.
That's how this started with Rick Adonis. Like, you're one of the best storytellers I've ever met.
Yeah.
That's where we came up with the idea for the podcast. So I'm working the brokerage. And I walk in on a Friday night, and Gary Smith, the old owner, says, hey, tomorrow we have an engagement party coming in. And the groom, the guy doesn't, girl doesn't know. She thinks they're going out. And he wants one of the comics to like set it up where he gets engaged. He proposes to her. He goes, you want to be involved with this? You want me to get the MC? And I've never done that. I've heard about comics doing that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, no, I want to do that. And he's like, you do it? I go, yeah, man, I want to do that. And I was so excited. And I'm like, I go home. I'm excited that the next day I'm going to help this guy propose to his girlfriend. So the next day we're at the club, and the group walks in. It's like 20 of them. The guy walks in ahead, and the girl is like this. And the guy walks in and goes, "It's off. It's off. It's off." And he goes, "She knew. She knew." So, the surprise is over. She knew. And the girl goes, "Well, you shouldn't have the fucking box in your pants." And he had like a big box. He was skinny like you. He had this big protruding box.
But what's she mad about? Isn't she happy that he's going to ask?
No, because she felt, if you're going to surprise me, make it work.
Oh,
you
okay.
screwed up.
Right.
I can see that there's a box.
Right.
A jewelry box in your pants. Or you're really happy to see me. So they're like, "Forget it. We'll do it another time." So now I'm pissed. Right? Now, my wife, who's still my fiancée at the time, she came by that night. So I'm on stage doing the show, and they're right in the front. And this kid is sitting, and I'm getting more mad. And the girl is like, and I'm like as mad as she is because this guy ruined this. So I look at him, I go, "You really fucked up." He's like, I know, you really. And now the audience, so I tell the audience what happened. This guy, I've never gotten a chance to do that. A lot of comics have. So I go, "You know what? Do it now." And he goes, "What?" I go, "Do it now. You got the ring. Do it now." And he goes, No. I go, "Come on, dude. Do it right now." Get it. And he goes, "Nah, and it's got to be a surprise." I go, "Well, this is a surprise because she thinks it's not happening. So let's do it now." And he's like, I don't know. And the audience starts, "Yeah." And I go to her, "Would you be happy if he did it now?" And she said, "Yeah." So he goes, No. So I go, "I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If I do it, will you do it?" And he goes, What? I go, "If I get engaged right now, if I propose right now on this stage, will you do it?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Cindy," I go, where's my girlfriend?" And she's in the back, and the place goes crazy. And I tell them the story about the ring and how. And I go to her, I go, "You want to come up here and do this?" I said, "This is where we met." She sat right there. But I said, "Why don't you come up? We'll do it now." And she goes, "I don't have the ring with me."
Oh, shit.
So somebody got a key ring, like a key ring off there. And one of the waitresses ran up. She goes, "I got a ring." And it was just a little key ring. And they called my wife up, and I got on one knee on the stage, and I proposed to my wife. The place went fucking crazy.
Wow.
And my wife walks off.
Was he able to follow you?
I turn to the kid, and I go, and he's like, so we get them up there, and he proposes. Place goes crazy. This took like a good half hour.
Oh, sure.
I ended up having to do like an hour and a half because I felt like the audience deserved more, even though the audience loved every minute of it. But now the waitresses at the brokerage, the fact that they were like, "You don't go over," and they're standing at the end of the bar, at the end of the stage, staring at me like, "Get off the stage." And I'm like, "I got to do more time." So we come off the stage. I come over. We finish the show, and now they come over. We end up going to Quigs again.
Oh, that's nice.
With the guy and the girl.
Oh, wow.
And we're at the bar, and we're having a drink, and this girl is the biggest bitch I have ever. Dude, everything the guy says, she goes, "No, that's stupid."
Oh, my goodness.
No, you know why? Because you. And after about 20 minutes, my wife looks at me and goes, "What have you done?"
Well, they probably have murdered each other, but it worked out nice for you guys. And it's funny because speaking of Riccadonna, like, you know, he got married right here on stage here.
Governors.
Yeah.
That's right. He got married here at Governors.
Yeah. That's wild.
Because it was cheap. Believe me. There's no other reason. You know, it's Riccadonna. You know, it'd be different. Nah, you just don't want to pay, you bastard.
But I wouldn't do it now, though. I wouldn't get married here now because, I mean, who's going to marry us? Mario? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to.
Well, he's got the bow tie. He's got the tux. That would be awesome. Imagine Mario marrying you. Wow.
No.
Jimmy. Get Jimmy to.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We got to here today. To bring together these two.
We do one of the murder mysteries I do with my troupe. We have a mob show. You got to have a mob show in New York, and it's a wedding. In fact, Bosie, I'm the father of the bride, and Bosie actually plays the bride. Right, he plays.
Oh, is that what he showed me him in a dress yesterday? Like
oh yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like he was so it was so important to him to show you that picture. I don't know what that was.
It was like I haven't seen Bosie in drag before.
So, that's actually the line when the wedding ceremony starts, and it's all mobbed up, we're here tonight over the bodies of, wrong ceremony, and then, it changes over. But yeah, it was just a weird night altogether between doing over 2.5 hours and then coming in here, and we didn't get out of here till, 11:30? Yeah.
I know, I showed up, and the funny thing is I wrote Ange, and I said, hey, I'm running late because I had rehearsal for this play I'm doing. I said, I'm probably not going to get there till 7:15. I didn't even go on till like 9:20.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous.
It was crazy. And the Bosie's insisting on showing you pictures, and then he was blowing us kisses.
I know.
Which I didn't know what was going on.
Then he had Hershey's sign.
What was that?
And he was walking around with Keegs and Hershey's sign.
Right there. In that box is the new sign.
The new sign.
That's the new one.
Hirsch, call in and ignore me.
Well, when we're done here, if anybody, I don't know if anybody wants to grab it on their way out, I didn't see a thing. So,
I don't have enough pictures of Mike Keegan in my room.
You have Mike Keegan himself in your room.
He's too skinny for me. I like my men with meat on them. Keegan's a little bit of a thing. Now, he put up that picture on Facebook today, and I saw you liked it.
What? Him
from
performing.
last night, him performing.
Right, and then you commented, "Hey, you're killing it."
Funny. The audience looks completely bored in that picture. Like the whole audience is like they're watching a drama.
Yeah.
Like nobody's like. Everyone's like.
That's why Jay took 2 pictures of me last night, and that's why I didn't post them.
Oh, really?
Because the people sitting like this. There's even right from the angle Jay took it. A woman right in the front. She's not even. Her back is to me. So I'm like, I'm not posting these.
You should have cropped it.
But the reason I wrote that
put in
was
laughing heads over them.
Like zoomed in on your face.
Mike and I are from the same neighborhood, right? I lived in East Meadow for years. He grew up there. I live in Belmore now, and for the last 10, 12 years, people who know us both will be like, "Hey man, how's comedy going?" I'm good. Oh, good. Are you sure? Yeah, no, it's going good.
Are you sure?
Who's really blowing up? That Mike Keegan, man, he is blowing up, huh? Wow, that Keegan. So everywhere I go, people I'm like, I'm doing way better than Keegan. I just don't post it. I don't care to post it. But I feel the need to tell people. Yeah. No, and people go, wow, Keegan was on a show. Yeah, he opened for me. What kind of miserable ego do I have that this? So that's why I wrote that, because wow, you're really killing it. You're working everywhere.
But I actually have a serious question for you.
Was he talking like I totally?
We did totally.
I mean, like you're the main guest. I'm here like fucking every week and shit.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, for the,
we only met last night, right? We never met before.
I met you for the first time. We were supposed to be on a show in the Giggle Room a while back, but I think you had something going on. So.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago. Yeah. Is she mad at you?
No, right, she's
good.
not. I just felt bad because I did it. I shouldn't have. Kathy, I'm sorry. But like what I felt bad about was a few people showed up to see me, and I was like, I got such a better gig, I had to take it,
Better gig meaning financially.
Money.
Yeah. I wasn't on the lineup, like I wasn't on the show. I went there with my friend, but when they said the headliner dropped out, I was like, maybe able to do a 6-minute guest. I was a little happy. I was like, I hope,
I felt so bad.
Joe is, he's great. He's up and coming, but he's also. What really impresses me, he's just a big, he's like Don Sill. He's a big student of comedy. He loves stuff like this, listening to the veterans like you, because you're really old.
That's a rarity, and I don't understand that, and I'm not trying to get into a generation thing here.
That's true. Yeah.
But when I was starting out, if you met somebody who'd been in it for 20 years or whatever, that meant something. It didn't matter if they were famous. It mattered.
Right. Yeah, no.
It meant they'd been through the ringer and they knew everything, and they really did. And you could watch and you could learn.
Right.
And I feel like the younger generation could give a shit. And I got a feeling it has to do with the internet. It has to do with social media.
I feel like the only time you learn from talking is when you're on the stage, but I think other than that, you have to be a listener.
That's a great, wow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
And I do agree with you, unfortunately, but there's guys like Joe and Dan and Luke. There's a bunch of them right now that are coming up that are trying to learn and have that respect. And
I mean, there are guys
refreshing.
in this business who are younger than me that started, because I started late. I was 27.
That's like average. That's like comedy age.
Yeah,
like
but I mean, a lot of guys started at 20.
Yeah.
So by the time I started, those guys were established acts.
Right.
And even those guys, I still look at and I forget that they're younger than me, because in my mind,
right.
You know, wow,
they're like
you know,
veteran comics. Yeah.
That's
how it feels watching sports. I'm watching guys that are like, fucking. I'm like, yo, this dude's crazy. He's 21. He's younger than me. I'm like, holy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait till you're our age.
Yeah. No, I'm rooting for a guy who wanted the Knicks to draft that guy Jaden Ivey. He's like 19. I'm like, bruh. Like, this dude's fucking
19.
We were in here one.
What were we talking about? You said a serious question.
Yeah, I had a serious question. So, in regards to comedy, I'm not going to get into what it was or names or anything, but there was one comedian that was in the green room who was trashing another comedian. And you said, why do you care so much about,
last night.
Yeah. Why do you care so much about what that comedian's doing? What you should just care about yourself. And you said, I'm just worried about what I'm going to do when I'm out there. Which I loved, by the way, and I agree with. But it was interesting. I found it interesting you were saying, that it's,
But that comedian said, this is why I quit the business.
Yeah.
Because they were watching another comic who they didn't think was funny. And I was just like, what? Really? Like, that can't be why you quit the
business. No, I don't think it is, but...
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, it was just like, what do you care? I'll give you a better example. 20 years ago, maybe, I was at Caroline's. And at the time, there was they still may do it. I think Bud Light or somebody does a Women of Comedy contest in Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think they do, yeah.
And there was a female comic there bitching about who won. And going, I can't believe she won. Can you believe she won? Are you serious? And I turned, I went, you came in second? And she goes, what? I go, you came in second in the contest? She goes, no. I go, then what do you care?
Right.
Yeah, it's not like it was close. Yeah.
How does that affect you in any way? You just worry about yourself.
All right, but that's actually my question. Worrying about yourself. That's what I found interesting because, granted, we're all up there at the time by ourselves, and of course we have to present, and we have to, put up. We have to, have a good set. But do you ever look, because I kind of look at the show, and maybe, I don't know if it's wrong or right or just a different perspective, but I look at the show as a whole. I see it as a team effort. Because if I'm doing a bad job, like last night I hosted, if I'm doing a bad job as a host, I think it does affect the whole show.
But that's not on me. I have no control of that. Only Jimmy does. So, yeah, you're right. Dude, I grew up, I have a degree in theater. I'm an actor.
Right,
and
yeah.
actors play off each other. But in this situation, you're like, all I can do is what I can do. And believe me, I've gone up after acts that completely tanked. I'd rather go up after an act that completely tanks than an act that kills with hacky stuff.
Really?
Absolutely. Because if I go up after someone who bombs, there's nowhere else to go but up.
Okay.
But I go up after someone who kills with really awful stuff that now you know that the audience is dumbed down. And it's hard to get them out of that.
Oh, that's
Once
interesting.
an audience is dumbed down, you can't fight that fight.
Wow. So I
Well,
never
you
would.
can, but
I never would have thought of it that way. I'm thinking, wow, they killed. They got an energy. People are laughing. They're having a good time.
if I follow a comic and they kill and they're good, I will ride that wave. But it's hard to ride the hacky wave. It just is. You know what I mean? It's hard to...
Like you're saying, an audience. I mean, even though they're laughing, they can kind of like. They're actually dumbed down. They can tell a difference.
Yeah, Lucian at the comic strip used to say, "I don't listen to the audience," and comics just get really mad about that. And I was no fan of Lucian at the comic strip, but I did understand what he meant. Just because you're killing doesn't mean you're a good comic, and that's what an audience doesn't understand, and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be there to have a good time.
Right.
But as a comic, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Really? Did you just do that? Did you just say that? And I'm not going to go into any of that, but
yeah, no, I'm looking to.
And especially if it's all dirty, and you're like, okay, now I know the level of intelligence in the audience, and I'm screwed now. I
Wow.
mean, there was a comic who used to host at Dangerfields, and if that comic was doing well, I knew I was going to struggle because they were so bad, and they was that if the audience enjoyed them, I was screwed.
Right.
You know, it's the weirdest. And I'm not, dude. You've seen my act. There's nothing. I'm not intelligent at all. I'm not up there.
No, but
I'm not.
But
trying
you
to
kind.
be Bill
But
Maher
you.
or,
But you are kind of because you have a knack of, like you mentioned, Quigs. Like you have a knack of being the. If I, as an from an audience perspective, you're the guy I'm sitting next to at the bar and having a blast, having a great time with my buddy, talking like
sitting, drinking a beer with him.
Yeah,
that's what
and
at a young
Joey's
age,
the same way.
At a young age, I got told that. A manager said, "Listen, you're the guy everyone wants to sit at the bar and have a beer with."
Yeah,
and he's like, "So never lose that."
Right.
You know.
And Joey Cole is the same way. You feel like you're just having a conversation
except for
with
one
him.
thing is, have you ever had a beer with Joey? It's brutal.
Yeah, eventually he talks about Jesus Christ and stuff. Come on.
There's nothing enjoyable about it at all. You're absolutely right. He on stage, you think, well, but off stage, you're like, God, is this guy almost done? And then he has to tell you how the beer's repeating on him. I got a thing. Oh, my head.
He's always got a thing.
Hungover. My toenail hurts. Oh, come on. It's the worst.
Well, toenails, I just get jealous. But actually, you can see Joey this Saturday at the Brookridge. The 18th, whenever the 18th is.
Saturday.
I think yeah, Saturday.
Well, you can see me at Smithtown Theater
on
the 18th.
I was getting to it.
Joey Cole.
Actually, it's a good show. It's you and Tim Gage, right?
And yes, yeah, and Pat O'Rourke. Pat, do you know Pat?
I know who he is.
Well,
I don't know him personally.
Pat's an interesting because Pat's not like he does it part time. You know, he has a real job.
Right.
He's but Pat has an ability on stage that I mean, from day one, where he just gets on stage and you see that people immediately go, oh, I think I'm gonna like this guy.
Yeah.
And then he does his act, and they realize they don't. But
one of my friends said something that's like so true. One of my comedy friends, he said it's almost like high school. Like sometimes you just see a guy and you just don't like him because you're like,
Yep.
So sometimes you could be funny, but the audience just won't fuck with you.
I'm amazed at the comics who are so unlikable off stage and are likable on stage. That's so weird.
Yes.
That gets
me too.
Not that it gets me mad, but it's just, I don't understand. It's because it's like sometimes when you're up there, it's an act. You're being something a little different.
Right.
Like, you know, some people are more outspoken on stage and off, and then vice versa. So it's just
and which is a good reminder of a conversation we had last night. We got to get off in a second, but you were telling me last night that you were trying to kind of increase your energy on stage. You felt you were a little too low key on stage.
Yeah.
I found that very interesting. So, do you feel it was affecting anything?
I just feel like I just want to improve, and I just feel like with improving, you just have to be more I don't know, like more controlling on stage. Like not that I wasn't. I feel like I just needed to improve certain things. Every time I see a flaw, I just want to fill it in. With
and what are we talking about? Just being more animated, being louder, more
as far as
physical.
Just,
like what do you mean?
Like move more and put like more emphasis on words, you know, instead of it just being because like I would like certain jokes. I changed my tone, but I just wanted to up it a little bit. I've been watching guys like Eddie Murphy and shit recently, so I'm just trying to like
go watch.
not emulate them, but
go watch Rita Rudner. Go watch.
That's an interesting choice.
What's his name? The guy who had the deadpan way.
Stephen Wright.
Go watch Stephen Wright, Rita Rudner, and forget about Eddie Murphy or any other because they barely move on stage and they're unbelievable. So
Stephen Wright.
I'm not saying don't watch the other guys, but I'm saying don't fake it. It might be who you are, and if you can figure out a way to make that work.
That's why it surprises me, not to interrupt you. That's why it was surprised me last night when you told me that, because you do have a comfortability up there, and you know, from knowing you personally, I do feel like, he's, you know, that you're being yourself up there, which again is the same thing as the guy at the bar. Like there's a comfortability there.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying you're doing the wrong thing, but I don't know.
But I'm
I
just
don't mean
saying,
like
there are people out there that never move.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by them because I'm very animated.
Because I used to move a good amount, and then there was a comic that told me once, he said, don't move, put your hand in your pocket and stand still.
Oh, wow.
So then I started doing that, and then I realized the difference. I went from like being able to like follow somebody with more energy to like just being more reliant on words.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I talked to a comic a while back, and he's just saying your newer stuff, if you want to get out of that habit, write more towards, what's it called? Write your newer jokes with more of like an outgoing type of, because like you're doing your old shit like the way that you would normally do it. Write
Right.
newer jokes with different type of movements,
Okay.
whatever. Plus, also I think open mics hurt me a little bit, because I think open mics are you're not expecting to get the laughs sometimes, that you're kind of just sitting there. So I feel like the less I've been going, the more animated I've been.
Oh, that's
I've been
interesting.
Too, so.
Wow.
Because I'm a big proponent of open mics. I think they're, even though the one thing I don't like is when I go to an open mic and all the comics are doing jokes regional or about the open mic, and you're like,
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to use that
It was,
anyway.
it was
Right,
hurting my
right.
delivery though, because I remember at open mic sometimes I was questioning it, and I remember after the show I was talking to Peter Bells, and Peter Bells was like, tonight on the show you were kind of like questioning your jokes, you weren't like letting them have it. And I felt like that was because sometimes at the mics I don't really like necessarily feel it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been taking like a hiatus from them, just practicing in my room, and I've been delivering my jokes with a lot more like pizzazz, whatever, than I was before. So yeah.
I never see. Peter's a big thinker. I don't think.
I'm-
I've never.
I
don't
can't,
like to
even if I
think.
tried. Yeah. Yeah.
I
hear
don't
you.
like
Joke
to
with
think. I just
Just do.
do. Yeah.
That's
Do
a blessing.
you so when you're out there, you're trying to get more pizzazz. Do you?
It's not even like necessarily that. I just want to be like, I don't want to be like a standstill, like kind of like awkwardness. I just want to be like more comfortable and like step into jokes, and like, and that's not necessarily have to move more. Just kind of like step to the left more, step into shit. I just want to be like more controlling.
So it's
that
not
I was-
necessarily dancing in the shower singing Wham.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
It's
right.
not just like
acting shit like that. It's not, like that crap.
I laughed my ass off.
See now, but really, I was saying how I don't like. There are comics who are likable on stage, but not likable off stage, but there's one comic in particular, in Rich Voss, who is unlikable both on and off stage. And I have to respect that.
Well, he's consistent. There you go. All right, let's get out of here. Joe, thanks for hanging out with us today. Good to see you. Always a pleasure with you, my friend. And he's sticking around. We're going to record some stuff. Do we have
No, we have no
idea when we're going to start airing these
Mark
things?
and I are just going to do this till we're 82, and then we're going to put them out for our children.
That's like this afternoon. All right, so we're out of here. Tonight on the YouTube channel, Steve's Great at 6:30. The Wort with Mike, Pete, and Steve tonight at 8 o'clock on the YouTube channel. We're back here tomorrow. Hugh Murray is coming in.
Again?
He comes in every Tuesday.
Oh, my God. I didn't know you had a drug problem.
No, it's gotten better. In fact, Joe and I were just talking about it. Have you seen the pictures he's posting?
Why did he get punched? What happened to his
Oh,
eye?
no, that he claims he tripped and fell.
Yeah.
Which
in the bathroom with the needle. Oh, that's so mean. I shouldn't have said
the pictures. He's got a girlfriend now. He's posting all these pictures of them making
he's got
out.
a girlfriend. Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
told me.
yeah, this is cool. Keep them coming. I'm trying to get the girlfriend in here. That's what I'm trying to do.
have her sit here
And not
sits
you,
over there.
just the girlfriend.
Well, do you know Nathan Norton by any chance? He's a comedian in the city.
yeah.
Yeah, you know Nathan. He came in here once and he said to me, "Do you mind if I bring my girlfriend?" I said, "Yeah, I don't care." He's like, "Just sit on the couch." I was like, "All right, no problem." He sits down. She's down there like for 2 seconds. I'm like, because she started talking. I'm like, "Come sit." Next thing you know, we're talking about how she enjoys a thumb up her butt and how she's been with women, and I'm like, "This is awesome." It was one of
You
the
sure it wasn't Jim Norton?
No, it was. Oh yeah, and trust me, she's beautiful. It was. Yeah, I wouldn't mistake her for anybody else. So there you go. We're back here tomorrow with Hugh Murray. I think maybe Jay. I don't know if what Jay's doing, but I think he might be coming. There you go. We will see you guys. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Happy birthday. My daughter Samantha turns 24 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. We'll see you guys later. See ya. I forgot. I put together a promo with you guys, and I wanted to put it on here. I played it a couple weeks ago, but I haven't.
How long have you been doing comedy?
Started June 5th, 2021, so like a little bit over a
During the
year.
pandemic.
No.